screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we are discussing the process. Okay, today also I'll continue with the same topic. So why we need to use the preprocessor? Okay, so yesterday I have been explaining you, and today also I'll explain. So before going to execute your request to the server, let us assume if you wanna do any changes in it, yes, you can do that using preprocessor. Okay, so if you want to do any changes in the request before going to hit that particular request to the server, so we can do or we can implement some changes in the request using preprocessor. Okay, so let me build one script. Try to add few request. Okay, so now you can see here I'm adding one pre processor to the HTTP request. I'm adding this JSR 223 preprocessor. Okay, I have added that. Okay, now I want to pass this protocol server name and port number. Those three I want to pass using preprocessor. Okay, so how I can do that? Here I can write some customized scripting and all. Okay, if you want to write any customized scripting, so you can write customized scripting using JSR 223 or Bean Shell preprocessor. So those two preprocessors we have. Okay, if you want to write the customized coding and all, you can write the customized coding. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so use vars dot put function. Okay, so vars dot put. Okay, so what I want to pass here, I want to pass google.com over here. Okay, so google.com I need to pass. Okay, so just I mentioning here like URL. Okay, so URL comma I want to pass like google.com over there. So google.com I have given. Okay, so close the bracket and okay, keep the colon over there. So now you can see URL I have given. So this URL I need to call. Why? Because in the place of URL, google.com can be passed over there. Okay. So go to your request and you know how to call the variable and all. So use the syntax dollar flower bracket open URL flower bracket close. Okay. So now let's run it and check it. Okay. So add view results tree. Just click on the play button and see. Okay. See. Request you can see google.com. Okay, so whatever the google.com you have given here, okay, that google.com is passing over here as a server name. How it is passing? You have added that URL in the preprocessor. So preprocessor what it is doing? So it is see vars means variable. Okay, put అంటే పెట్టండి ఎక్కడ పెట్టాలి instead of URL in the place of URL, so we need to pass google.com. So therefore in the place of URL, so the server is sending google.com. So that's why we are saying google.com over here. Okay, if you want to pass some other inputs also you can pass. Okay, so I want to pass like a put. Okay, so I want to pass this what we call this protocol as well. So see, view result tree. No, there's a preprocessor. Here you can write like protocol. Okay, so protocol. So what is your protocol name? So your protocol is HTTPS. HTTPS you can mention over here. And okay, so that's all. So take this protocol from here and go to your HTTP request. And here, so use dollar flower bracket open control V flower bracket close. That's all. View results tree, clear your data and run your test. See, it is showing like null. Okay, it is not executed. Something is dollar protocol.
సార్ అక్కడ సి ఇచ్చారు సార్ వి
ఇక్కడ yeah, vars
వాట్స్కి
vars dot put. Okay, you can see now. So protocol we have given like HTTPS and the server name we have given www.google.com. Okay, if you want to see the response also, you can see by enabling the browser. Okay. You can enable the browser and you check. You can see google.com page. Okay, not only Google, you can launch any page. Okay, you can give any website URL over here. Okay, instead of google.com, so you can give like pet store also. So petstore.october.com. Okay, don't give www on all, so that do not work. Clear your data, just click on the play button. See, welcome to pet store 6. Enter the store. Okay, so whenever you launch the pet store, you can see the same thing in the browser, right? So you can see, so you got the response. Okay, so this is how you can use the preprocessor. ఇలాగే అని ఏం కాదండి, based on your requirement, whatever it is required, so you can write the customized coding over here. Okay, just I am giving a brief idea on it అంతే. ఓకే, సో ఈరోజు నేను చెప్పేదే రేపొద్దున మీరు దాన్ని ఏమంటారు రియల్ టైంలో ఉండాలి అని ఎక్కడ రూల్ లేదు. ఓకే, ఇన్ సమ్ సినారియోస్ వీ కెన్ యూజ్ ద JSR 223 ఆర్ ఎల్స్ వీ కెనాట్ యూజ్ యాజ్ వెల్. ఓకే, మనం వాడచ్చు వాడకపోవచ్చు బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద రిక్వైర్మెంట్. So based on the project on which you are working and all. Okay, so just I am giving the brief idea on JSR 223. If you know the coding knowledge and all, so yes, you can use the JSR 223 and all. Okay, so మీకు అవసరమైతే వాడుకోవచ్చు, లేదంటే you can ignore it. Okay, so why? Because using this URL protocol, these and all things directly you can do parameterization and all. You cannot use this JSR 223 and all. It is not required. అవసరం లేదు. Just I am showing you. So this is the way how you can use that particular thing అని చూపెడుతున్నాను మీకు అంతే. Okay, so like the similar way, so you can use this one the bean shell as well. So there is no much difference between bean shell and JSR 223. Okay, so JSR 223 it will support multiple languages. Here you can see language, click on that one, you can see these many languages it can support. Okay, so but in the real time, so don't use JSR 223, it will consume lot of memory and memory and CPU and all. Okay, instead of using JSR 223, better you can use bean shell preprocessor. So whatever the thing you have been written over there, you copy it and you can dump that in the bean shell preprocessor and see it will work. Okay, I'm toggling this one. Okay, now see, click on the view registry, just click on the play button. Okay, see, welcome to JPEG store. The same code it will work for the bean shell as well. Okay, bean shell preprocessor as well. So use bean shell preprocessor, it is lightweight script. Okay, so lightweight preprocessor. So the people in the real time they will use bean shell preprocessor. So whenever they want to do some changes in the request, so request లో ఏదైనా చేంజెస్ చేయాలి అనుకున్నప్పుడు దే కెన్ యూస్ bean shell preprocessor. ఓకే, సో అది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. సో కొన్ని ప్రాజెక్ట్స్లో అవసరం ఉంటుంది, కొన్ని ప్రాజెక్ట్లో అవసరమే ఉండదు. ఓకే, that is depends. So yesterday we have been discussed about the user parameters and coming to HTML link parser. So why we can use this HTML link parser ante, see, whenever you are getting the response from your server, so in some scenarios we can get the HTML links in the response. So to extract those HTML links we can use HTML link parser. Okay, in the name itself it is telling that HTML link. Okay, if the links are present over there in the where in your response, so to fetch all the responses, to fetch all the links, so we can use HTML link parser. So in general we do not use this HTML link parser, rewriting modifier. So these two and all we do not use in real time. Okay, ఎందుకంటే మనము దాన్ని ఏమంటారు, whenever you are validating the scripts and all, so you do not get a chance to fetch all the links and iterate it. So అలాంటి ఛాన్సెస్ ఉండవు. ఓకే, so let us assume you have the requirement at the time, you can add the HTML link parser to your request. మీ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఏది ఉంటుందో దానికి యాడ్ చేయాలి. Okay, so what it will do, it will fetch all the links in that particular page. Okay, links ఉన్న లింక్స్ని ఫెచ్ చేస్తుంది. సో ఫెచ్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఏం చేయొచ్చు, యూ కెన్ యాడ్ వన్ మోర్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఓవర్ హియర్. ఓకే, సో యాడ్ వన్ మోర్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఓవర్ హియర్ అండ్ you can see now, click on the view registry, clear your data. If any particular request is present over there, that request will be passed in the next request here. Okay, so what you can do, you just keep path over here slash. Okay, server name, whatever the server name you have been mentioned, so you can mention the save server name here as well. Okay, so if we have any what we call the HTML links are present in the response. So that will be passed over here in the next request. ఇక్కడ pass అవుతుంది. 308 permanently redirected. So something URL it is passed over here. Okay. Welcome to pet store. So there is no such kind of links present over there. So that's why it is showing like that. Okay. So in general we do not use it. Okay. Okay, you can ignore it. If you want, you can remember, or else you can ignore it. Okay, so next. Preprocessor rewriting, you can leave it. JDBC preprocessor. Okay, so actually when we will use JDBC preprocessor, so let us assume, okay, you do not have any data. మన దగ్గర డేటా ఏమీ లేదు. Okay, so for the login information, so every time what you need to do, so you need to connect to the database, and from the database you need to fetch the record. You need to fetch the details like username and password. So at the time we can use JDBC preprocessor. So the data will be there in the database, and you need to fetch the data from the database. So at the time you can use this JDBC processor, and you need to write one query for that here. Okay, query we need to write over here. So these many queries will be there. So based on your requirement you can write your query over here. Okay, you don't worry, okay, I don't know database, how I can work and all. Okay, you just what you can do, you can approach your DB team. Okay, for each and every, in each and every application there will be a DB team. Okay, there should be a DB team, database team will be there. Okay, so you can reach out them and you can ask them to how you can fetch the data from there. Okay, they will tell you about the query, which query you can write. So whatever the query they are using in the database, the same query they will give you. Okay, so here you need to write that particular query. So under the query, here you can see this is the query section area. Here you can paste that query, so which given by, so your DB team. Okay, and this parameter value types variable names and all he only provide. Okay, that guy he will provide the details and all. Okay, you can fill all the details over here. Okay, so using this JDBC preprocessor, what you can do, you can fetch something information from the database. Okay, so this is the story behind this. Okay, so whenever you got a requirement like this, you can sit. Okay, so you can sit along with your DB team and you can fetch that detail. So just a second. ఏమి చెప్పు. ఏదో వచ్చే ఇందులో క్లాస్లో ఉండవు. Okay, so that is the way you can use this JDBC preprocessor. So maximum number of cases you do not get a chance to work on it. So in case you are getting a chance to work with JDBC, then you can reach out to DB team. So database team will be there. So you can reach out them and they can give you the information and all. Okay, so you can put those information over here and you can use that information. Okay, here we do not have the DB and all to show you, so therefore I am ignoring it. Okay, this is a very rare scenario you can use JDBC. And regular EX user parameters. Okay, regular expression reference name, parameter name, regular expression group number, parameter value, regular expression group number. So regular expression make gurtunda. So where is regular expression? Yeah, so in the regular expression you can see, so if you are using multiple groups over here, you can mention like template 1, template 2, template 3, like that. You can mention like this, $1, $2, right? So $3, so like that we can mention. సో ఎప్పుడు మీకు గుర్తుందా గుర్తులేదో. ఓకే, సో మల్టిపుల్ గ్రూప్స్ వాడామనుకోండి, ఇలా ఒకటి ఉంది, సో మళ్ళీ ఒక గ్రూపు. ఓకే, డాట్ ప్లస్ క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్. ఓకే, సో కామా ఇంకొకటి ఉంది, ఇక్కడ మళ్ళీ ఇంకోటి వాడారు, డాట్ ప్లస్ క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్. ఇలాగా మల్టిపుల్ గ్రూప్స్ వాడాం మనం. ఓకే, సో నాకు తెలిసి ఐఎమ్ హోప్ సో మీకు గుర్తుంటుంది అనుకుంటున్నాను. సో ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ ఫెచ్ గ్రూప్ 1, సో అట్ ద టైమ్ యూ కెన్ యూజ్ ఓన్లీ $1 ఓవర్ హియర్. If you want to fetch group 2, you can give $2 here. Okay, so but I want to fetch everything, so I want to fetch rendu. Okay, rendu fetch cheyali annappudu you can give like this, $1, $2 you can give. Okay, so match number you can give like based on your requirement, you can give 0, you can give 1, or you can give anything. Okay, let us assume I am giving match number as a random, so I have given 0. Okay, so for this one, Okay, randomly it can capture. For this group 2 also it will capture the randomly. Okay, but మీరు గ్రూప్ 1 నుంచి డేటా కావాలి, మీకు గ్రూప్ 2 నుంచి డేటా కావాలి, 2 you want. At the time what you can do, regular expression, this user parameters you can use, preprocessor you can use. Here you can see regular expression reference name. So whatever the reference name you have been given here, created variable, something you can give like, right, jsession id, something you can give over here. Okay, so you can, okay, you can copy it and you can give over there regular expression user parameter name here. Okay, and parameter name, okay, parameter names, regular expression group number. Okay, which group number you want to capture, whether group 1 number 1 or group number 2. So which one you need to capture? Let us assume group number 2. So at the time you can give like group number 2 over here. Okay, and parameter values, regular expression, parameter values, group number, parameter value in the sense like you can give like, so which number you need to capture randomly or first or second or third. So that is also you can pass from here. Okay, so maximum in the real time we do not use this regular expression user parameter, just only for your understanding purpose I am telling. Okay, if you want to remember you can remember, or else you can ignore it. So nobody do not question on you. Okay, on this to you. Okay, you can ignore it, no problem. And so pre-process, very important one is bean shell preprocessor, sample timeout, and user parameters. Those three are important. Remaining and all not required, you can ignore it. Okay, in the interview also the people, so they will ask you like what is preprocessor, why we need to use the preprocessors, that's all. If they will ask you like beyond that, so have you used any preprocessor, so like that only they will ask you. Okay, so they do not concentrate much on the preprocessor. Why? Because we do not get a chance to work on this preprocess most of the time. Okay, so next one is sample timeout. So when I have to use the sample timeout, so what is the use of the sample timeout? Okay, in the name itself you can see timeout. Okay, so let us assume, so I am executing one request. Okay, so I am executing one request means like flipkart.com, like anything you can consider. Okay, so like let us assume flipkart.com. So sometimes the response time is very quicker, sometimes it will take some time. Okay, so if your connection is not that much fast, so then so you can see like it will take more time, it will show like loading and all, it will take some time and it will display the response to you, మీకు పేజ్ వస్తుంది. ఓకే, వీ హ్యావ్ బీన్ అబ్జర్వ్డ్ దట్ వన్ మెనీ టైమ్స్. సో ఏదైనా మనం వర్క్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఏదైనా వెబ్సైట్ మీద లెట్ us assume like గ్రాసరీ మీద క్లిక్ చేశాను. Okay, it will take some time at loading and all, it can display, sometimes it will give the quick response and all. Okay, so అలాంటప్పుడు how much time I can wait for that response, what is the maximum time I can wait for that. Okay, so back to back you are triggering the request and all, you are executing the request and all. So therefore sometimes the response times are very quicker, sometimes response times are very high. So you need to set the maximum response time for that particular request. So at the time what you can do, so you can add sample timeout to that particular request. Okay, so let me add that sample request to this particular request. Okay, right click on that particular request. Okay, right click on the request, mouse around to the add preprocessor, and I have added sample timeout. Okay, I have added sample timeout to that particular request. You can see now there is a sample timeout, and here you can see sample timeout 10,000 milliseconds it is there, that means 10 seconds. Okay, so if you are not getting the response, okay, if you are not getting the response, so it will wait till 10 seconds. So appadi kuda raagapothe then it will throw an error. Okay, so let me give like only 1 millisecond and see what happens. Click on the view results tree, clear your data. Okay, so run your test. What happened? I think regular expression something it is causing the issue. HTTP request sample timeout, HTML link parser, shell, JDBC preprocessor. Here we have. See, so we have given sample timeout, I have given 1 millisecond. So 1 millisecond లోపల మనకి వచ్చేయాలి. So you can see here it is failing. Sample timeout I have added to HTTP request, right? So whatever the maximum time you can give here, so it will wait for that particular time. So our time టైం వరకు వెయిట్ చేస్తుంది. ఆ టైం మ్యాక్సిమం టైం అది. సో ఇక్కడ నేను 10,000 ఇచ్చాను అనుకోండి, 10,000 సెకండ్స్ వరకు అది వెయిట్ చేస్తుంది. సో అప్పటి వరకు వెయిట్ చేయాలని లేదు. సో రెస్పాన్స్ రాకపోతే వెయిట్ చేస్తుంది. రెస్పాన్స్ వస్తే ఎస్ దేర్ ఈజ్ నో ఇష్యూ ఉండాల్సి. వీఆర్ గెటింగ్ ద రెస్పాన్స్ ఓవర్ హియర్. ఇట్ డు నాట్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ 10,000 మిల్లీ సెకండ్స్. 10,000 మిల్లీ సెకండ్స్ వరకు వెయిట్ చేయదు. సో వెన్ ఎవర్ యూ గాట్ యువర్ రెస్పాన్స్, ఓకే, సో లెట్ మీ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ విత్ మల్టిపుల్ యూజర్స్. లెట్ మీ గో విత్ 3 యూజర్స్. ఓకే, సో ఇట్ డు నాట్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ 10,000 మిల్లీ సెకండ్స్ వరకు వెయిట్ చేయాలి కదా అని వెయిట్ చేయదు. సి బ్యాక్ టు బ్యాక్ ద రిక్వెస్ట్ ఆర్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటింగ్ ఓవర్ హియర్. ఓకే, సో బ్యాక్ టు బ్యాక్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయినాయి ఇవి. సో అలా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవ్వకూడదు కదా. శాంపుల్ టైమ్ అవుట్ ఐ హ్యావ్ గివెన్ 10,000 మిల్లీ సెకండ్స్ అంటే నో, దట్ ఈస్ ద మ్యాక్సిమం టైమ్. సో వెన్ ఎవర్ your request is not getting the response, so at that time it will wait for that response. So till what time? Till 10,000 milliseconds. 10,000 seconds, milliseconds అంటే 10 సెకండ్స్ వరకు వెయిట్ చేస్తుంది. 10 సెకండ్స్ వెయిట్ వరకు కూడా దానికి రెస్పాన్స్ రాకపోతే అప్పుడు ఇట్ విల్ త్రో ఎన్ ఎర్రర్. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఈస్ హౌ యూ కెన్ యూజ్ శాంపుల్ టైమ్ అవుట్. ఓకే, సో వీ కెన్ యూజ్ దట్ వన్ బట్ ఇన్ వెరీ లెస్ సినారియోస్. Okay, and one more preprocessor we have. Okay, destructing. So one more preprocessor. Bean shell already we have been discussed, you right? So bean shell already we have been discussed. So instead of JSR 223, you can use bean shell preprocessor as well. But in the interview the people, they will ask you what is the difference between the bean shell preprocessor and JSR 223 processor. So you can tell that. So bean shell scripting is a lightweight scripting. So therefore instead of using JSR 223 we can use the bean shell and simply ga cheppochu. Okay, so this is about the preprocessor, why we can use the preprocessor in the JMeter, how we can use the preprocessors. Okay, in the preprocessors mainly you need to remember like bean shell preprocessor, sample timeout, okay, user parameters. So these 3 you need to remember. Remaining all not required, you can ignore it. Okay, so practice it. So just okay, there is no much there is no need to put that much effort on this preprocessors. Okay, so next I'm moving to next topic, timers. So timers is very very important in the performance testing. So why? Because I'll tell you. Okay, so let us assume, okay, so you are the first time user. Okay, you are accessing the application for the first time. So before that you haven't used it. Okay, so now I am launching one application called like, so let us assume like which one, Amazon.com. Let us assume Amazon.com is very new to me. Okay, somebody told me that. So Amazon is a e-commerce application, you can buy something over there. Okay, so therefore I am launching the Amazon application for the first time here. So I have launched the application. Okay, so now I'll check it out here. So what and all things are present over here. So what I need to do. Okay, ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి దీని మీద, ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి, ఏమేమి వీళ్ళు అమ్ముతున్నారు, ఓకే, నేను ఏం కావాలి నాకు. సో దోస్ థింగ్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ ఐ కెన్ వెరిఫై ఓవర్ హియర్. ఓకే, సో ఐ కెన్ వెరిఫై ఓవర్ హియర్ and then I can search for the sign in. Let us assume I can search for the sign in. Where is sign in? So I'll take some time to search the products, search for the things which and all present over there. Where is sign in? So for that, so నేను కొంచెం టైం తీసుకొని సెర్చ్ చేస్తాను ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఉన్నాయి ఏమి అని. సో దేర్ఫోర్ టు పర్ఫార్మ్ ద నెక్స్ట్ యాక్షన్ ఐఎమ్ టేకింగ్ సమ్ టైమ్. ఓకే, లాంచ్ చేసిన వెంటనే ఐఎమ్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ టు సైన్ ఇన్ ఓవర్ హియర్. వై? బికాస్ ఐ డోంట్ నో వేర్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ సైన్ ఇన్ ప్రజెంట్ over there on that particular page. So therefore I can take some time to search where is particular future sign in. Or else I want to buy a headphone. Okay, I want to buy a headphone. After launching the Amazon.com I can search for the headphone, where it is there, ekkadundi. Okay, so that I can search. So therefore it will take some time to perform the next action. ఓకే, సో నెక్స్ట్ యాక్షన్ని పర్ఫామ్ చేయడానికి నాకు కొంచెం టైం కావాలి. ఓకే, లెట్ us assume I have been clicked on the headphones here, headset I have been clicked on. Okay, so now in this page what I can do again, I'll search for, so what is the what and all products are available over here. So what is the minimum price, what is the maximum price, so what is the quality and all, I'll check over here. See, again to perform the next action I am taking some time. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ చూడొచ్చు $29, $59 లైక్ దట్ వీఆర్ సీయింగ్ ద ప్రైసెస్ అండ్ ఆల్. సో వాట్ ఐ విల్ డూ, ఏం చేస్తాను నేను మొత్తం చెక్ చేస్తాను, రైట్. సో ఏమేం ప్రోడక్ట్స్ అవైలబిలిటీ ఉన్నాయి, నేను ఏ ప్రోడక్ట్ కొనొచ్చు, సో అవన్నీ నేను చెక్ చేస్తాను. సో దెన్ ఓన్లీ లెట్ ఇస్ అజ్యూమ్ లైక్ సో సంథింగ్ దిస్ HyperX I want to purchase. So then I can click on this. See, so in between the actions I am taking some time to perform the actions. Okay, first launch chesanu, after that to perform the next action I have taken some time. Okay, after that to perform the one more action I have taken one more time, I mean some more time. So that like that I have taken some time in between the actions. So that is the real time behavior. Okay, so coming to in the JMeter, so JMeter is a tool, it is not a human being. So therefore we need to tell to the JMeter by saying that JMeter don't hit the request back to back. ఓకే, మీరు ఇక్కడికి వెళ్ళి చూస్తే, ఓకే, సో లెట్ మీ ఓపెన్ ద రిక్వెస్ట్, ఆర్ ఎల్స్ హియర్ ఓన్లీ వీ హ్యావ్ 2 రిక్వెస్ట్, రైట్. సో లెట్ us assume this is request number 1. ఓకే, సో ఆల్రెడీ మనకి ఇక్కడ HTTP రిక్వెస్ట్ ఉంది, దిస్ ఇస్ ద HTTP రిక్వెస్ట్ 1. ఓకే, సో నౌ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ డూయింగ్, సో ఐఎమ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటింగ్ ద రిక్వెస్ట్ హియర్. సి, ద రిక్వెస్ట్ విల్ బి ఎగ్జిక్యూటెడ్ బ్యాక్ టు బ్యాక్ without taking any time. The requests are executing back to back. So that is not realistic environment. Okay, so whenever you are working on the UI, so portal like this, okay, so in between the actions, so the people they will take some time. Okay, so therefore we need to give some breathing time in between the actions. ఒక యాక్షన్కి మధ్యన ఏం చేయాలి, సో వీ నీడ్ టు ప్రొవైడ్ సమ్ బ్రీతింగ్ టైమ్. సో దాన్నే మనం ఏమంటాం, థింక్ టైమ్ అంటాం. ఓకే, ఇన్ ద ఇంటర్వ్యూ ద పీపుల్ దే విల్ ఆస్క్ యూ వాట్ ఈస్ థింక్ టైమ్, వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్. Okay, in the interview the people they will ask you what is think time. So think time is nothing but the time delay or time difference, okay, in between two actions we will call as a think time. Okay, the time delay in between two actions. Okay, ఒక యాక్షన్ చేసావు, ఇంకో యాక్షన్ చేయడానికి ఎంత టైం తీసుకుంటున్నావు నువ్వు. సో ఇన్ బిట్వీన్ ద యాక్షన్స్ హౌ మచ్ టైమ్ యు ఆర్ గివింగ్ యాజ్ ఎ బ్రీతింగ్ టైమ్. Okay, so that time we will call as a think time. So this is very very popular question in the interview. The people they will ask you what is think time. Okay, so launch chesavu nu, you have launched your Amazon application. So before going to perform the sign in you are taking some time. So our time ni manam emantam, think time antam. Okay, after sign in you are going to search for the let us assume this one headphone. Okay, you are taking some time to search. Again you are taking some time to see all the projects on that particular page. See, for each and every action you are taking some time. So ఆ టైంని మనం ఏమంటాం, థింక్ టైమ్ అంటాము. సో మనం డిఫైన్ చేయాలంటే థింక్ టైమ్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ దట్ ఈస్ ద టైమ్ డిలే ఇన్ బిట్వీన్ 2 transactions or 2 actions. Okay, so you can call. Okay, so how you can give the think time in the JMeter, so that is the next question. Okay, so think time we can give so using timers. So in the JMeter, so we have an option called timers. Using the timer, so you can add the think times. Okay, how I can add the think time now, so let me show you. Okay, see, I am executing now. So here we have 2 requests, request and request 1. You can see request and request 1, we have 2 requests here. So those are not executing back to back. So let me show you again. So click on the play button and see all the requests are executing back to back. So this is not realistic. I need to provide some time. So first request 1, request execute avali idi. So let me give as request number 1 over here, and I am giving this as request number 2. So first request number 1 execute avali. So after 10 seconds, okay, so ledante after 2 seconds request number 2 should execute. So request 1 execute avali first, request number 2 after 5 seconds execute avali. Appudu em cheyochu meeru, so right click on the request number 2, okay, mouse over onto the add and add the timer, add the constant timer. Constant timer, and here you can see the name of the timer, that is the constant timer. You no need to rename it, you can keep as it is. Comments you can ignore it. Okay, so thread delay, you can see thread delay in milliseconds. So let us assume I am telling like 5 seconds. 5 seconds means 5000 milliseconds you can use. Okay, so click on the view results, see, just click on the play button and see what happens. Okay, see, request 1 is executed back to back, and request 2, see, it is taking some time. Okay, see, it is taken Okay, how much time it is taken? 5 seconds time it is taken to execute request number 2. Okay, so then back to back it is executed. So what it mean? So before going to execute request number 2, so we are telling the JMeter I have added the timer over here. Okay, so according to that you need to move. Okay, so single user పెడతాను అప్పుడు మీకు అర్థమవుతుంది. Okay, see, clear your data and run your test. So first request number 1 is executed here. So then, so to trigger the next request, it will wait for the 5 seconds. See, request 2 is executed now. So why it is waited for the 5 seconds? Ante, I have added the constant timer to the request number 2. So before going to execute request number 2, the constant timer will be executed. So timer first execute అవుతుంది, తర్వాతనే request అనేది execute అవుతుంది. Okay, like the similar here, preprocessor. First the preprocessor will be executed, then the request will be executed. Like the similar way here, the timer will be executed first, so then the request will be executed. So therefore it will wait for the 5 seconds. So after completing the 5 seconds, request 2 will be triggered to the server. Okay, if you want I'll show you again. See, first request Takan execute అయిపోయింది, right? So after that it will take 5 seconds time to trigger the next request. See, request 2 it is executed for after 5 seconds. Okay, so that is how you can use the timer in the where as a think time. Okay, so as a think time in the JMeter. So based on our requirement, so we can use any timers. Okay, we can use many timers. So timer ikkade kaadu, so you can add the timer to the thread group, you can add the timer to the test plan as well. I'll show you. So here I have added the timer to request, so therefore this particular time, okay, this particular timer will be applicable to only this request. Okay, so now right click on the thread group, mouse on to the add and add the timer. Okay, add the timer, constant timer I have been added. Okay, so now here also I am mentioning like, let us assume like 5000 milliseconds I have given. So now click on the play button and see what happens. Click on the play button and see. Okay, see why you are not getting the request number 1 over here, why it is not executed. After 5 seconds only it will execute. Okay, see, after 5 seconds you got HTTP request, after 10 seconds you can get request number 2. Okay, so why? See, request number 2 it is executed after 10 seconds. Enduku, here the constant timer, so which you have been added, so to the thread group, so thread group add chesam, so therefore this constant timer will be applicable to each and every request. So e request ki applicable avutundi, e request ki applicable avutundi. So for this request, so there is no timers and all, you have not added the timer to this particular request. Okay, therefore 5000 seconds, so it should wait 5000 milliseconds అయిన తర్వాత it will be executed. HTTP request 1 will be executed. Coming to request number 2, so this constant timer will be applied to this particular request. So therefore 5000 seconds. And also one more timer we have been added to the HTTP request number 2. So that is also 5000 milliseconds. So therefore 5000 plus 5000, 10,000 milliseconds. So after completing the 10,000 milliseconds only, HTTP request 2 will be executed. So click on the view results, see, clear your data. See, I am going to click on the play button. After 5 seconds only, so you can get that first request will be executed. You can see like first request will be executed after 5 seconds. See, 5 seconds is completed. You can see one request is executed. See, after 10 seconds only, again you can see one more request will be executed. Okay, so see. Okay, so అలాగా టైమర్స్ అనేది యాడ్ చేయొచ్చు మనం. Okay, you can add the timer to the test plan as well. So add the right click on the test plan, mouse around to the add and add the timer, constant timer. See, I have added this constant timer to the test plan. So therefore this timer will be applicable to thread group and request and all. Okay, ఈ thread group కి అప్లై అవుతుంది. Let us assume like multiple thread groups ఉంటే అన్ని thread groups కి అప్లై అవుతుంది. Okay, so now I am giving constant timer as a 3000. Okay, see what happens. Clear your data, just click on the play button, just it will wait for the time ante. Okay, so already you have given the timer 3000 here, you have mentioned 5000 over here, 3 plus 5 8, right? So it will wait for 8 seconds time. After 8 seconds only first request will be executed. Coming to second request, in the thread group you have given 2 constant timers over here. So 5 plus 5 10, 10 plus 3 13. After 13 seconds only it can be executed. Okay, but 13 seconds అన్నారు కదా, మరి ఇక్కడ 22 ఉంది అంటే ఫస్ట్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయిన 13 సెకండ్స్కి ఫస్ట్ రిక్వెస్ట్ అయిపోయినాక 13 seconds it will wait. Okay, so 13 secondsకి ఎందుకు అంటే I have added one constant timer, okay, to the request. So that is 5000 milliseconds. And also here one more constant timer we have been added to thread group. So that is also 5000. 5000 plus 5000, 10,000. That means 10 seconds. And to the test plan we have added one timer, that is 3000 milliseconds. That is 3 seconds. So 5 plus 5 plus 3. So total 13 seconds. So this particular request, okay, so it will wait for 13 seconds. Coming to HTTP request 1, it will wait for 3 seconds plus 5 seconds, 8 seconds it will wait. Okay, so that is how the timers will be calculated, the time will be calculated. So based on our requirement we can add the timers and all. So in some scenarios we can add the timers, in some scenarios we cannot add the timers and all. Okay, don't add the timers, too many timers. So because of that what happens, your application performance might degraded, so your response times it will increase. Okay, so therefore whenever it is necessary, the timers and all it is necessary, at the time you can add the timer like this. Okay, you can add the timer to the request, you can add the timer to the thread group, you can add the timer to the test plan. Okay, so wherever you want you can add, so based on your requirement you can add. Okay, so next, so this is think time. Okay, think time I am explaining so far. Okay, so after completing the timers I will tell you pacing time. So something called pacing time will be there, so that I will talk later. Coming to other timers, you can see uniform random timer. Okay, so uniform random timer, in the name itself it is telling that uniform random timer. Okay, so you can give maximum and minimum. Okay, so in between those two it can pick any one of the value and it can wait for the same. Okay, వెయిట్ చేస్తుంది అంతే. మీరు ఏమన్నారు ఇక్కడ 1000 milliseconds అన్నారు. ఓకే, 1000 milliseconds is nothing but 1 second. Okay, so minimum you have given like 10 seconds, 10 milliseconds you have given. So in between minimum and maximum it can pick any value, it can pick 900, it can pick 800, it can pick 70, it can pick 20. So any value it can pick and it can wait for that particular value, that particular time. Okay, so randomగా ఏదో ఒక వాల్యూ చూస్ చేసుకుంటుంది అంతే. సో maximum we do not use this. Maximum many scenarios we can use constant timer only, so we do not use that random timer and all. Okay, so that is not realistic environment. So next one, precious constant throughput timer. So precious throughput timer you can ignore it, constant throughput timer it is important. Okay, so why we need to use the constant throughput timer? Okay, so based on your requirement, let us assume I want to achieve constant throughput under client. Okay, so I want to achieve constant throughput. Okay, so per minute I need to achieve 550. Okay, so then what you can do, you can add the constant timer, throughput timer, and you can mention 550 over here. So that's all. So therefore, so what it will do, so constant throughput timer, so it will allow the request to execute constantly, so we can get the constant throughput. Okay, so while executing I will show you how you can use this constant throughput timer and all. Okay, this is called like a goal oriented scenario. So better we do not use this one. Okay, so maximum కొన్నిసార్లు వాడచ్చు, కొన్నిసార్లు వాడకపోవచ్చు. ఓకే, సో వాడు ఒకవేళ అడిగాడు అనుకోండి, ఐ నీడ్ టు గెట్ ద కాన్స్టెంట్ త్రూపుట్ అని. సో అట్ ద టైమ్ ఇన్ ద నేమ్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ దే ఆర్ టెల్లింగ్ కాన్స్టెంట్ త్రూపుట్. సో అట్ ద టైమ్, సో బెటర్ యూ కెన్ యూజ్ దిస్ కాన్స్టెంట్ త్రూపుట్ టైమర్ టు దట్ పర్టికులర్ రిక్వెస్ట్. ఆ రిక్వెస్ట్కి మనం యాడ్ చేయొచ్చు. ఓకే, యూ కెన్ యాడ్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ కాన్స్టెంట్ త్రూపుట్ టైమర్ టు దట్ పర్టికులర్ రిక్వెస్ట్. ఏ రిక్వెస్ట్కి అయితే మనం కాన్స్టెంట్ త్రూపుట్ కావాలనుకుంటున్నామో, సో దానికి మీరు యూ కెన్ యాడ్ దట్ కాన్స్టెంట్ త్రూపుట్ టైమర్. ఓకే, అండ్ హియర్ యూ కెన్ సీ టార్గెట్ త్రూపుట్. సో ఎంతైతే మీరు మెజర్ చేయాలి, ఎంతైతే మీరు అచీవ్ చేయాలి అనుకుంటారో, సో యూ కెన్ యూజ్ దట్ మచ్ త్రూపుట్ ఓవర్ దేర్. ఓకే, లైక్ టార్గెట్ త్రూపుట్. ఓకే, సో మినిట్కి ఎంత అవ్వాలి, సో దట్ యూ కెన్ క్యాల్కులేట్ అండ్ యూ కెన్ గివ్ ఓవర్ హియర్ అండ్ యూ కెన్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ ఇట్. ఓకే, ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసి చూసుకోవచ్చు మీరు. ఓకే, సో లెట్ మీ షో యూ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ పాసిబుల్. మనకు వర్క్ అవుతుందా, ఎన్ని టైమర్స్ పెట్టాం, రిమూవ్ ద టైమర్స్ అండ్ ఆల్. Okay, so constant throughput timer we have given like 550 we have been given. Let us assume like, okay, so URL it is not there, I think it fail అయిపోతుంది. Let us assume I am going to execute with 100 users. go with infinitive and duration and giving like 120 seconds. చూద్దాం వస్తుందా రాదు. Okay, so constant throughput timer 550 and aggregate report or summary report, anything is fine. Click on the play button and see. In samples per minute, నిమిషానికి 550 అవ్వాలి. So 1 minute కి, so we need to get 550. Okay, so see, we are reaching to like 1 second closely here. So we have reached to samplers 550. Okay, so beyond that we are getting. Okay, I think this is not realistic. Why? Because we are getting all failures and all. See, we are getting all the failures and all. So this should not correct. Okay, so actually whenever you are working with the real time environment and all, so whenever you have been added the constant throughput timer like this, whatever the number you have been mentioned over here, so that number of samples you can get over here under the samplers. Here you can get. Okay, so you have been mentioned like constant target throughput in sample per minute 550. So per minute exactly you can get 500 and something over here. Okay, so you not get these many samples. Why? Because your request is back to back is failing over here. So that's why it is crossing beyond that. Here you can see 100% failures. Okay, you no need to worry that's all. So you just add the constant throughput timer. So whatever the constant throughput timer you need to achieve, so that you can give this the number you can mention over there. That's all. Okay, so beyond that nothing is required. You can ignore it. Okay, so just name itself, by seeing the name itself you can identify constant throughput timer in వాడచ్చా వాడకూడదా అని. Okay, so the people they will tell you. Okay, or your manager or client he will tell you like, so we need to get the constant throughput. Okay, we need to get the constant throughput, like that he will give you. Okay, so he will give you the information. So based on that you can add the constant throughput timer. So if not, you no need to use this constant throughput timer. Okay, కాన్స్టెంట్గా మీకు రావాలి అంటేనే మనం వాడతాము, లేదంటే ఇగ్నోర్ ఇట్, నో ప్రాబ్లం. And Gaussian random timer. Okay, so right click on the test plan, Gaussian. So this is also we cannot use. Gaussian random timer, you can see deviation, constant delay offset. Okay, so ఈ deviation, constant delay offset, basically there is a formula for that Gaussian random timer and all to calculate this one and all. Okay, so I'm ignoring it. Okay, so not use in the real time, you can ignore it. So don't be confused and all. So ఇవన్నీ చెప్తే మీరు కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయిపోతారు. You just remember the things like constant timer, constant random timer, remove. Yes. Okay, so constant timer, uniform random timer, this one throughput timer. So those three are important. And JSR 223 timer, you can write the customized coding over here. So wait చేసేదానికి కూడా టైం అన్ని అప్లై చేసేదానికి కూడా if you want to write, so you can write the customized coding over here. Okay, so ఇన్ని సెకండ్లు వెయిట్ చేయాలి, so like that you can write the customized coding over here. Okay, so this is not entertainable. So why? Because so directly we are having some futures over here like constant timer and all. So whatever we require, so we can give that constant timer over here. So I am not entertaining to use JSR 223 timer దాన్ని ఏమంటారు for waiting purpose. Okay, that is not required. So you can ignore it, no problem. ఎందుకంటే we do not have that much of coding knowledge over here. So therefore you can ignore it, no problem. So Poisson random timer also you can ignore it, no problem. Synchronization timer, this is important. Okay, so bean shell timer also like JSR 223, you can write the customized coding to implement the timing. Okay, so synchronized timer, this is important, synchronizing timer. Okay, so why we need to use the synchronizing timer? Okay, in interview also the people they will ask you why we need to use the synchronization timer. what is the purpose of the synchronous timer, like that. Okay, so actually, let us assume, let me open up. Yeah, so let us assume, okay, so we are having launch, login, purchase the ticket, okay, log out. So like this we are having, let us assume I am having 4 transactions. Now you are executing with 100 users. Okay, so total load is 100. Total load equal to 100. Okay, so you are executing with total 100 users load. So what it will do, 100 users they will start executing this launch, login, purchase ticket, log out, like that. Okay, so ఒకటి తర్వాత కూడా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తూనే పోతానే ఉంటారు. నాకు అలా వద్దు. I want to perform all the transactions by all the users at the same time. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు 100 మంది యూజర్లు ఉన్నారు. ఓకే, సో 100 మంది యూజర్లు ఉన్నారు. 100 మంది యూజర్లు ఒకేసారి లాంచ్ని పర్ఫామ్ చేయాలి, ఒకేసారి లాగిన్ చేయాలి, ఒకేసారి పర్చేస్ చేయాలి, అండ్ అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం ఒకేసారి లాగౌట్ చేయాలి. సో దట్ ఈస్ మై రిక్వైర్మెంట్. Okay, my requirement is all the transactions should execute at the same time. Launch means, so launch can be executed at the same time with the targeted number of users 100. Okay, login should execute with the 100 users. Okay, and log out and purchase ticket also we need to execute with the same number of users at the same time. ఒకేసారి ఒకటి తర్వాత ఒకటి వద్దు. నాకు లాంచ్ ఒకటి చేస్తారు, తర్వాత లాగిన్, పర్చేస్ టికెట్ ఇలా చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్తూ ఉంటారు యూజర్స్ వన్ ఆఫ్టర్ వన్. That is not, okay, my requirement. My requirement is, okay, I need to execute targeted number of I need to execute this particular transaction with the targeted number of users. 100 మంది అంటే 100 మందితో నేను ఖచ్చితంగా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయాలి, ఒకేసారి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయాలి. 100 మంది ఒకేసారి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, సో చూపిస్తాను మీకు. ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ ఈ లాంచ్, let me go with 10 users. I don't want to go with maximum number of users. Remove this infinitive and go with a single user. Agree, view results tree, or else what we can do, view results tree in a table. We can use, click on the play button and see. You can see here the timings and all, 7:45, 7:44, 43, 45. So users important here. Yeah, see users you can see, right? So 1-5, 1-1, 1-3, 1-8, 6, 7, 10. See 10 number of users you can see. Okay, one user 1, okay, user 7, user 2, user 4, user 9, user 6, user 5, you can see. And you can see time zones, different timings are there. You can see milliseconds, 7:45, 7:44, 43, 45, 43, 44, 43, 44, 45, 40, 58, 54, 58, 54, 58. See different will be there. So I want to execute this request 1 అన్నిటికీ ఒకేలాగే ఉండాలి. టైమింగ్స్ అన్నీ request 1 ఒకేసారి ఇనిషియేట్ చేయాలి. See request 1 7:45. So okay, request 1 7:44, request number 1 7:43, request number 1 7:45. నాకు అలా వద్దు. ఓకే, అందరూ ఒకేసారి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవ్వాలి. అలాంటప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి, రైట్ క్లిక్ ఆన్ HTTP request 1, mouse around to the add and go to preprocessor and add the we are talking about the timer, right? Timer, synchronous timer. Add the synchronous timer over here. Okay, so here, so target number of users, how many I am keeping over there? 10 users, right? Let me give with like 10 only. Okay, so 10 I have given. Okay, I have given. What is the timeout? That is 10 users రాలేదంటే maximum నేను ఎంతమంది యూజర్స్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయొచ్చు, how much time I can wait for that. Okay, I will tell you one example for time being. Just I am giving like 5 seconds. So 5 seconds, 5000 milliseconds I have given. go to view results tree, clear your data and run your test now. Aggregate report, view results tree. You can see 472, 472, 472. Okay. The same time the users will be executed. See 19181116. Okay, 15 here something is delay is there. So why this is 110 469 17 you can see 14 472 13 469 and here any constant timers and all no. I think because of this bean shell it is taking some time. Okay, see you can see here all the transaction almost it is executed at the same time. Okay, ఒకేసారి మనకి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయినాయి. అదే మీరు రిక్వెస్ట్ నెంబర్ 2 చూడండి 464 463 63 64 63 67 65 68 64 66 like that many things you are seeing. So coming to in our case, okay, so I have given 5 milliseconds time here to the synchronous timer. Within that 5 milliseconds second the users are not reaching over here. Let me give like 10,000 milliseconds. Okay, 10,000 milliseconds, 10 seconds I have given. Go to view results tree. అది చెప్తాను నేను మీకు. ఓకే, సో దాన్ని ఎలా కన్సిడర్ చేస్తుంది అని ఐ నీడ్ టు టెల్ వన్ స్టోరీ ఫర్ దట్. ఓకే, సో లెట్ మీ వెయిట్ ఫర్ దట్. Request number 1 528 529 528 528 528 525. So this is something is going on here. Okay, so 527 525 525 528 520 అన్నీ ఒకేసారి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవ్వాలి. సో సంథింగ్ ఈజ్ మిస్సింగ్ ఓవర్ హియర్ సంథింగ్ we are getting error. Okay, we can see what is the error it is giving. JSR 223 script JSR timer. Okay, so JSR 223. Okay, I think there is something issue. Okay. Let me toggle this. Bean shell link parser, toggle it, sample timer, toggle it. Okay, bean shell preprocessor, synchronous timer, we have only bean shell preprocessor, view results tree. Okay, clear your data, run your test. ఓకే, సో హౌ విల్ ఇట్ విల్ వర్క్. సో ఒకే టైంకి ఎలా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తుంది విత్ టార్గెట్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ యూజర్స్. సో ఆల్మోస్ట్ 1 second ఇటు అటు ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఆల్ ద యూజర్స్ దే విల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం. హౌ ఇట్ విల్ వర్క్, సింక్రనస్ టైమర్ అనేది ఎలా వర్క్ అవుతుంది. సో లెట్ మీ గో టు పెయింట్. ఓకే, సో you know right, traffic signals. So the same scenario we can use here. So like we are having 4 roads over here. Okay, so ilaga 4 roads unnai. So let us assume here is the center and here you can see one traffic signal will be there here. Okay, so traffic signal will be there here. Okay, so ikkada meeku symbols untayi ila. Okay, so something 3 symbols, something electric color pole ఒకటి ఉంది, electric pole ఉంది. ఓకే, ఉంటాయి. సో let us assume you are riding from here, ఇక్కడ నుంచి వస్తున్నారు. సో you are seeing that red in color light. సో రెడ్ కలర్ లైట్ పడింది మీకు, ఏం చేస్తారు, మీరు స్టాప్ అయిపోతారు ఇక్కడ. లైక్ ద సిమిలర్ వే మెనీ పీపుల్ హూ ఎవర్ కమింగ్ ఇన్ దిస్ వే, సో బై సీయింగ్ దిస్ రెడ్ కలర్ సో దే కెన్ స్టాప్ ఓవర్ హియర్. సో ఇక్కడ ఆగిపోతూ ఉంటారు అందరూ. ఓకే, సో ఎంతసేపు ఆగుతారు, ఆల్ వెహికల్స్ అన్నీ ఎంతసేపు ఆగుతాయి. ఓకే, సో టైం ఇక్కడ ఏమైనా టైం డిస్ప్లే అవుతూ ఉంటే మనకి, సో టైం 50 seconds అయితే ఆల్ షుడ్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ 50 seconds టైం. సో ఆఫ్టర్ కంప్లీటింగ్ ద 50 seconds టైం, ఓకే, ఏమవుతుంది, ద యూజర్స్ దే కెన్ స్టార్ట్ మూవింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ హియర్. సో ఇక్కడ నుంచి వెళ్ళిపోవచ్చు. కమింగ్ టు ద రిమైనింగ్ వన్ మోర్ సినారియో హియర్. ఇప్పుడు టైం లేదు ఇక్కడ, లెట్ us అస్యూమ్ టైం లేదు. అప్పుడు ఎలాగా, సో ద one fellow, one traffic constable, he will stand over here and he can count the head counts and all. ఓకే, ఎంతమంది వస్తున్నారు, ఏ సైడ్ నుంచి ఎక్కువ మంది ఉన్నారు అని చెక్ చేసి వాళ్ళకి గో సింబల్ ఇస్తాడు. ఓకే, హియర్ వీ హ్యావ్ టూ పాసిబుల్ సినారియో. సో వన్ ఈజ్ యూ కెన్ కౌంట్ ద హెడ్స్ అండ్ ఆల్. ఓకే, ఎంతమంది వస్తున్నారు, ఇటుపక్కల నుంచి మనకి ఫ్లో ఎక్కువ ఉంది, సో దట్ యూ కెన్ కన్సిడర్. ఓకే, సో కమింగ్ టు సెకండ్ వన్, టైమింగ్ జోన్. ఎంత టైం లోపల రావాలి, ఎంత టైం లోపల వాళ్ళు వెయిట్ చేయాలి, ఎంత టైం వరకు వాళ్ళు వెయిట్ చేయాలి. సో దీస్ టూ థింగ్స్ యూ కెన్ కన్సిడర్. సో synchronous timer, so what it will do, it will act like a traffic constable here. ఇందాక మనం డిస్కస్ చేసినట్టు it will act like a traffic constable. Here also we are defining here the number of users. టార్గెట్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ యూజర్స్ ఇచ్చారా మీరు 10 అని. ఓకే, 10 people వచ్చేసారంటే ఇట్ కెన్ అలో ద పీపుల్ టు పర్ఫామ్ ద యాక్షన్స్ అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం. ఒకవేళ రాలేదు, సో అంతమంది రాలేదు అంటే యూ హ్యావ్ టు వెయిట్ ఫర్ దిస్ మచ్ టైం. ఓకే, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద టైమ్ యూ హ్యావ్ బీన్ గివెన్ దేర్, సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు వెయిట్ ఫర్ దట్ మచ్ ఆఫ్ టైం. సో ఆ టైం వరకు వెయిట్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, సో 50 seconds అన్నావు నువ్వు, 50 seconds వరకు ఎంతమంది వస్తారో అంతమంది వచ్చి వెయిట్ చేయాలి అక్కడ. 50 seconds తర్వాత so you can move like the similar way here in the JMeter as well. So we are telling that 10,000 milliseconds. So all the users, they will come and they will wait over here at the request number 1. Okay, they do not perform any transaction. Okay, they will wait at that particular place. Okay, so once this 10,000 milliseconds is completed, that is 10 seconds is completed, so then they will execute that particular request back to back. Okay, they will start executing it. So how many users you have been given here? So you have been mentioned like 10 users. Okay, so if 10 users reach to that particular point of time, so then it do not consider the timeout. 10 మంది వచ్చేసారు అనుకోండి, ఆ టైమ్అవుట్ని కన్సిడర్ చేయదు. 10 మంది రాలేదు అనుకోండి, ఇట్ విల్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ ద 10,000 milliseconds. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద ఏమంటారు డిఫరెన్స్. ఓకే, ఏదైనా ఒకటి సాటిస్ఫై అవుతాయి చాలు. సో యూ హ్యావ్ గివెన్ టూ ఆప్షన్స్ ఓవర్ హియర్. ఇఫ్ ద ఆప్షన్ 1 is satisfied, so then JMeter it will allow to execute the request back to back by 10 users. Okay, 10 అని ఎందుకు అంటున్నానంటే here I have been mentioned 10, that's why. If first scenario is not satisfied, so then it will wait for the second scenario. In the second scenario you have given like 10,000 milliseconds. So therefore all the users it will wait for 10,000 milliseconds. 10,000 milliseconds అయిపోయిన తర్వాత what they will do, they will start executing this request. Okay, so that is synchronous timer. In the interview the people they will ask you, okay, like I have a scenario. In my scenario I am having 3 or 4 requests. I am having 4 requests like launch, login, okay, purchase ticket and logout. I want to execute purchase ticket, okay, so with 40 users. Okay, I want to execute this purchase ticket, so with 40 users. Okay, so login I don't bother, so target load is 100, but I want to execute purchase ticket especially with, okay, so 40 users తో నేను ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయాలి at the same time. Okay, at the same time. అట్లాంటప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి, you can right click on the purchase ticket. Okay, you can right click on this purchase ticket and you can add synchronous timer to that particular, okay, so purchase ticket. And in the synchronous timer, so what you can do, you can add 40 over here. So grouping, how much you can add, 40. Like a group you are telling, group means that is the combined effort. So all the 40 users they will start executing at the same time. Okay, and you are giving the second option as well here, how much time I can give. 40 users అంటున్నారు మీరు. ఓకే, 40 users ఎంత టైం లోపల రావాలి అక్కడికి at that particular place means here purchase ticket. Okay, so purchase ticket దగ్గరికి ఎంతమంది రావాలి. Okay, here how many people, okay, we need to purchase. So we are telling like 40 users. So therefore 40 users they will start executing the particular transaction at the same time. Okay, launch ఎలా పడితే అలా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవ్వచ్చు, లాగిన్ ఎలా పడితే అలా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయొచ్చు, లాగౌట్ ఎలా పడితే అలా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయొచ్చు, బట్ పర్చేస్ టికెట్ స్పెషల్లీ వీఆర్ టార్గెటింగ్ దట్. సో వీ నీడ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ పర్చేస్ టికెట్ విత్ ద టార్గెటెడ్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ యూజర్స్, దట్ ఈస్ 40. Okay, so in that scenario we can use synchronous timer, and in the synchronous timer you can configure like this. Okay, so you can configure the simulated users like 40 based on your requirement, and timeout you can give. Okay, so timeout you can give. So based on that the synchronous timer it will start working and it will execute the request at the same time with the targeted number of users. Okay, so that is about synchronous timer, and this is important if compared with the other timers. Okay, here what you need to concentrate, constant timer you need to concentrate, random timer you need to concentrate, throughput timer you need to concentrate, and this one synchronous timer you need to concentrate. Remaining are not required. Okay, these four you need to concentrate: constant timer, uniform random timer, constant throughput timer, synchronizing timer. So these four are very important in the timers. Okay, so directly they will ask you the question why we need to use the timer in the JMeter or in the performance testing. So what is the use with that, or else what is the significance of timers, they will ask you like that. Or else, so which timer you are using in your script, can you explain the timer, like that they will ask you in the interview. Okay, so ఏదైనా క్వశ్చన్ ఏదైనా, సో యు ఆర్ ఇన్ ఎ పొజిషన్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ద టైమర్. ఓకే, సో టైమర్ ఎందుకు వాడతాము, ఎందుకు, ఏమి, ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు క్రియేట్ ద రియలిస్టిక్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ఇన్ ద టెస్టింగ్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ వీ నీడ్ టు యూస్ ద టైమర్స్. Okay, in the realistic environment, so once the user is performed one action, so before going to perform the next action, he will take some time. Okay, he or she will take some time to perform the next action. So what I mean to say, in between the two actions, so he is taking, okay, the user is taking some time, real user is taking some time. So therefore, so in the testing environment also we need to simulate the request as a real time request. So therefore we need to use the timer. Okay, so either we can use constant timer, we can use the random timer. Based on our requirement we can use any timer. So in the JMeter we have constant timer, throughput timer, synchronous timer, random timer, precious timer. Okay, so like a Poisson timer, so like that we have bean shell timer, we have many timers. Based on our requirement we can use the timers. So this you need to explain in the interview. Okay, so I forget to tell one thing, pacing time. Okay, so what is the difference between the think time and pacing time అని అడుగుతారు మీకు. Okay, so pacing time is nothing but the time delay in between two iterations. సో ఇటరేషన్కి మధ్య మీరు గ్యాప్ ఇస్తే దాన్ని ఏమంటాం, సో పేసింగ్ టైం అంటాం. యాక్షన్కి మధ్య గ్యాప్ ఇచ్చే దాన్ని ఏమంటాం, సో డిలే టైంని వీ కెన్ కాల్ దట్ యాజ్ ఏ థింక్ టైం. సో యాక్షన్ టు యాక్షన్, సో ది యాక్షన్ HTTP request 1 is the action, HTTP request 2 is the action. So after performing the request 1, you need to perform the request 2. So you are giving some time over here. So in between request 1 and request 2. So that time we will call as a think time. Why? Because that is the time delay in between the actions or in between the request or in between the transactions. Okay. అలా కాకుండా you are giving the time delay, okay, after the iteration. Okay. Iteration తర్వాత మీరు డిలే ఇవ్వాలి అనుకున్నప్పుడు that is called pacing time. Okay. So I don't want to confuse you. First practice this timers and all. Okay. So maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow I will tell you about the pacing here. Here I will show you. So what is pacing, how we can use the pacing and all. Okay. So yeah, here I will tell you about the pacing and all. So now you just remember that one. Okay. Pacing is nothing but the time delay in between two iterations we will call as a pacing. Okay. The time delay in between two actions or two transactions, so we can call as a think time. Okay, yeah, so yeah, that's all for the day. So if you are having any doubt you can ask me now.